Hello, and welcome to Marilyn Thomas's Personal Self-Improvement Plan. This plan was developed with the 2016-2017 school year in mind. For the upcoming school year, I will be working as a school leadership intern at Bryant Elementary School. In this role, I will work closely with the assistant principal to complete teacher evaluations, student discipline referrals, local and state testing, and other duties and responsibilities as deemed necessary by the administrative team. Even though this will be my first year working in this role, I have developed several personal self-improvement goals that I feel will help me further improve my own leadership skills. The goals I have identified for myself will allow me to effectively perform entry-level administrative work in order to provide assistance to the administrative staff. Those goals are train in the techniques used in school administration, demonstrate proficiency in leadership tasks and skills, improve communication from administration to staff, faculty, and parents, improve on management of student discipline school-wide, and effectively observe and evaluate teachers in order to provide constructive feedback after shadowing administration. In order to be as efficient as possible in my new position as school leadership intern, I've created a timeline of when my goals should be met. I worked with the assistant principal in creating the timeline. I did this so that I could make it as accurate as possible based on the duties and responsibilities that I will be carrying out during the school year. The first two goals are train in the techniques used in school administration and develop and demonstrate proficiency in leadership tasks and skills. These two goals are ongoing. These are not things that I can learn to do in a few weeks or even few months. These two goals will last from August until May in order to continuously build myself up as a school leader. The next goal, improve communication from administration to staff, faculty, and parents, is set to occur beginning August and continuing through until October. During this time, my goal is to create a system that allows for more continuous communication between administration to the rest of the stakeholders of the school. I plan to work with the parent facilitator in order to accomplish this task while also relying on administration for advice based on what has worked and not worked in the past. The next goal will span the first semester of the school year. It is to improve on management of student discipline. We have recently started the Positive Behavioral Intervention Supports, or PBIS, at our school, but there is still growth that needs to occur to improve on management of student discipline. I've already begun talking to other SLIs and assistant principals at other schools in an effort to collaborate and find out strategies and techniques that other schools are doing to be successful with lowering student discipline. If needed, the timeline for this goal will be lengthened, but my hopes are to have a sufficient and working plan in place by the start of the second semester. Beginning in September, when the principal and assistant principal begin to do formal walkthroughs and observations, I plan to observe and learn more about how the TEACS process works. I plan to do this by shadowing administration as they observe and evaluate teachers in order to provide constructive feedback. I received my TEACS credentials this past spring, so this will allow me the opportunity to put what I've learned into practice. By the end of the first semester, my goal is to be ready to take on a grade level in order to complete evaluations for the second semester of the school year, which leads to my last and final goal. My last goal is to spend the second semester effectively observing and evaluating teachers in order to provide constructive feedback. I feel that by shadowing the other administrators for the first semester, I will be ready to accomplish this on my own for the second semester. Since this position will be new to me, I'm aware that my goals and timeline for meeting my goals may change. I'm completely open to the possibility of adjusting my goals based on the needs of myself, administration, as well as the school. In order to be further prepared to meet my goals, it is necessary to have strategies in place to help me. As with my goals, these are strategies that I've worked with administration to develop in order to ensure my success as an SLI. For my first goal of training in the techniques used in school administration, I plan to spend 10 to 20 hours each week shadowing our current administrators. This will help me to see what they do on a day-to-day basis in order to gain more insight about leadership. I also plan to stay current by reading literature about administration, such as educational leadership. This will allow me to keep abreast to the trends that are occurring as a leader in a school system. I also plan to attend SLI meetings and train and meet with leadership developmental specialists as needed for mentoring. This will allow me to further grow as a leader and collaborate with other SLIs in order to determine what I can do at my school to make it the best learning and working environment possible. For my second goal, demonstrating proficiency in leadership tasks and skills, I plan to meet with my administrative evaluator on a bi-weekly basis to receive feedback about my job performance. I also plan to become more familiar with the LEAKS standards and the LAPS rubric. By doing this, I will have a better understanding of what it is that I'm supposed to do as a leader while also being aware of what I should be doing on a day-to-day basis. I also plan to set and monitor job-specific goals with my administrative evaluator based on the SLI position and areas of growth based on my past work performance. Since this is something I will sit down and do with my actual evaluator, I have not outlined specific goals, but I will create goals so that I can continue to be a successful school leader. For my third goal, improve communication from administration to staff, faculty, and parents, I plan to organize a communication team with K through 5 grade level representation and a parent representative. By doing so, I will help determine the best possible ways that I can communicate to the rest of the staff. I also plan to set up and maintain a blog for administration on the school website to communicate information on a weekly basis to the staff, faculty, and parents of our school. In addition, I plan to have bi-weekly parent workshops with various themes including technology, math, literacy, behavior strategies, and other sessions recommended by parents. For this strategy, I plan to work closely with the academic coaches as well as the parent facilitator in order to plan these workshops. I believe by incorporating the administrative staff into the workshops that we will reach more parents and that they will have a better understanding of the expectations from the leaders of the school. For my fourth goal, improve on management of student discipline, I plan to organize a PBIS kickoff for all parents and community stakeholders. My goal is to have this kickoff take place by the end of August so that all of our community members and staff members are aware of what the expectations are as far as PBIS at Bryant Elementary School. I also plan to redesign the PBIS store to include input from the students and parents. Many of our intermediate scholars are not as interested in our PBIS store as it stands right now. Therefore, by getting input from them, we will be able to provide them with resources and materials that are of interest to the students. Also, our parents may be able to give donations or an input onto what it is they would like to see in the store from our students, such as paper, pencils, books, etc., in order to help them at home as well as at school. And also, I plan to host parent-teacher discipline meetings with the students. I plan to do this in order to have an open line of communication in what is happening with the students in our school. After a student receives 2 violations where they are sent to the office, I plan to set up a meeting so that the parents can come in and discuss the behavior in order to have communication between the students and the parents and to fully involve the parents in the academic and behavioral processes that are happening at Bryant Elementary School. For my next goal of shadowing administration is to observe and evaluate teachers in order to provide constructive feedback. I plan to conduct walkthroughs with the administrative team and independently. I plan to complete observations alongside administration using the TEAGS rubric, and I plan to conference with administration about the findings that we determine are necessary for each teacher that we observe together. I also plan to sit in on TEAGS pre-conference meetings and evaluation meetings. This will give me a better idea of what it is that I need to do when I'm holding these meetings on my own. This will allow me to continue to shadow my administrative team in order to gain more understanding about the TEAGS process as it relates to our school. For my last goal, I plan to effectively observe and evaluate teachers in order to provide constructive feedback. I plan to do this by continuing with walkthroughs and providing teachers with feedback from the walkthroughs that I conduct. I also plan to do TEAGS evaluations the second semester of the school year and again provide teachers with feedback. Also, I plan to serve as an instructional leader and assisting with instruction and student discipline. After having worked As an academic coach for the past 7 years, I feel that I have knowledge in order to share with the teachers, even as an administrator, that will help their instructional practices and allow them to be better equipped when working with the students in the classroom. In order to determine the success of each goal, I plan to follow this 5-step evaluation cycle. It will be a part of my LEAKS plan for the school year and has been agreed upon by administration. In this 5-step process, at the completion of each goal, based on the timeline I've created, I will self-assess, then analyze where I am in the process of meeting or not meeting my goal, implement a new plan as needed, and have continuous evaluations of meeting the goals by administration during our weekly team meetings. And then I plan to have summative evaluations of the goals at the completion of when each goal should be met. This cycle will continue as needed as I work to refine my goals, change timeline dates, or end goals to begin new ones. The cycle process will work best because the goals will represent a continuous learning process for me as I learn more about what it means to be a school leader. In order to meet my goals, there are people that I will rely on for support. Those people are administrators, peers in the SLI role, the leadership development specialist for Cobb County, our parents, students, and teachers, the academic coaches, as well as the parent facilitator. Without all of these people working together, it will be difficult to have a smooth running school. So therefore, all stakeholders must be included in the process in order for it to be successful. There are also resources that I will need to make sure I have available: the TEKS standards, the LAPS rubric, walkthrough forms, parent workshop resources, PBIS store materials, membership to educational leadership, as well as use of the internet. All of these resources will help me in becoming a more effective leader. The TEKS standards will be especially important as I conduct walkthroughs and as I conduct observations and evaluate the teachers. The LAPS rubric will give me a better idea of what it is that I should look for when I'm going into the teachers' classrooms. The walkthrough form will be beneficial when I go in to complete the weekly walkthroughs that I will be required to do. Also, the parent workshops and the materials that I will need are resources that will help me reach my parents and the students of the school. Use of the internet will be important as I continue to search out new ideas that will be effective for me in my job. As with anything new and with setting goals, there will be challenges and obstacles that I anticipate facing. The challenges are time to work with administration shadowing. I believe this will be a challenge because the job as an administrator gets very busy some days. However, I do plan by the end of each week to have 10 to 20 hours of shadowing completed. Another challenge will be obtaining teacher and parent volunteers to serve on the communication team. Because we have several committees already in place that teachers are required to be a part of, I believe it will be a challenge to get more teachers to join another committee. However, I plan to make it an inviting request where the teachers' voices will be heard. The third challenge I have is time to maintain an admin blog. Again, with the busy schedule of administrators, I know this can be time consuming. However, it is a goal of mine to weekly update the blog once it's started. There are also obstacles that I will face in this new position. One of those obstacles is parental involvement at the biweekly parent workshops. As of right now, we do have low parental involvement. However, since it is a part of our school strategic plan to increase parental involvement, my hopes are that by having the workshops, the parents will become more involved, not just in the workshops, but in the school as a whole. Another obstacle will be parental involvement at the student discipline meetings. Oftentimes, it is difficult to get parents to come and talk about the problems that are occurring with their child. However, I feel that by having that open line of communication, I can overcome this obstacle. However, by relying on the support of those around me and utilizing my resources, my hopes are to overcome any challenges or obstacles that I might face. Since this plan is being put in place for the 2016-2017 school year, I cannot reflect on the outcome at this time. However, since my job and this learning experience should continue beyond this KSU course, my plan is to be able to reflect on my job performance throughout the year in order to make changes in myself as needed. I'm excited for the new beginnings and I anticipate a year of new learning experiences. Thank you.